Hey everyone, it's Joe from SJ Fitness and welcome to the ultimate vlog series of how to build your own training program. So today we're going to start with part 1, the forgotten principle. Let's get into it. So part 1, the forgotten principle of building your own training plan. So before you go out and buy all the latest supplements, all the latest Gymshark wear, whatever, you need to ask yourself a couple of very sort of honest questions to get started. First of all is, are you going to be able to be consistent with your new training plan? So what you've got to weigh up is being optimal or being consistent. Now it's all very good being optimal, so being optimal could be like doing the latest 6-day split where you're spreading up training volume throughout the day, you're hitting muscle groups like every other day, for example. But if you can only hit the gym 4 days a week due to like family, social, commitment sort of issues, what is the point of that 6-day optimal split? You might as well find a 4-day program split that you can be consistent with. So ask yourself that before you start your training plan. Is this plan going to be consistent? So are you going to be able to stick to it? Don't look for optimal just yet, look for consistency. Then over here, now this is called Ref Yourself. This is taken from the Muscle and Strength Pyramid books from Eric Helms and the guys there, and it's awesome books. I suggest you look into them. But Ref Yourself basically means realistic, enjoyable and flexible. So your training has to have an element of that in it. 1, realistic. Your goal has to be realistic. So for example, if you want to step on a bodybuilding stage and you're giving yourself 4 weeks, that's not realistic. Your goal has to be realistic and then you can work back from it. Enjoyable. There has to be some element of enjoyment in your training. If you hate going to the gym every single day, if you're dreading going to do those heavy deadlifts, you're probably not going to be consistent with it. Going back to this, it's probably going to not be as consistent. So there has to be some element of enjoyment to your training. Then flexible. Your training has to be flexible. You've got to realise that you're going to be in this training game for the long term, and there'll be periods in your life where stress may be very high. You may have a new job. You may be ill. That's when you need to be flexible with your training. So if you're doing a 4-day split, you may have to take it down to a 3-day split. If you can't make one training session, you may have to move it. You can't be set in your ways that every single day this has to be done. So there has to be some flexibility to your training, and that will help you sort of stick to it consistently. And this all comes back, this Ref Yourself, once you've refed yourself, this all comes back to the program being consistent. So before you start writing sets, reps and all that, ask yourself these questions. Is your program going to be consistent? And ref yourself before you start your program. Goals got to be realistic. There has to be some enjoyment level to it, and there has to be some flexibility to your training program. So that's part 1 done. We'll be back soon with part 2, which will be called Laying the Foundations. So we'll see you all very soon.